Well done. Acompanha Verpakovski, centra. And Riga lead.
Welcome to the Latvian Football Podcast. In this episode, we're going to review the second round of the 2023 Virsliga. As before, we are going to go game by game, then we're going to nominate goal of the round and look forward to what's coming next. Although next is the national team break, so we'll briefly talk about that, but round 3 starts in the beginning of April. So, what do you think?
Yeah, that was a great round of matches. A lot of interesting things on and off the pitch as well. Some comments from the coaches, a lot of interesting results, goals. And yeah, very excited to talk about these games.
Yeah, well, let's get into it. So, Jelgava versus Daugavpils was the first game played on Friday. Jelgava won 2-1, which was precisely what you predicted it to be. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. I called it. Yeah, I had some sort of feeling. I really did believe in Jelgava after the Riga game. Of course, you could say there was just emotions, all the fighting spirit. First game in Virsliga for the youngsters, but I did think they also showed some quality. They did go down 1-0 very early in the game. But yeah, I think after that, I wasn't unfortunately able to see the whole game, but from what I saw, they completely took over the control. They had the majority of the ball and yeah, capitalized. But again, a bit of a controversial penalty, which made them equalize.
What was the penalty? I don't remember.
So there was the moment, I think Ruben had a shot on goal, Kurakin saved it, and then the rebound, Jelgava player went for it with his head, while the defender wanted to clear the ball with his foot, and then he sort of hit his head a bit, and the penalty was awarded. But I think it was quite controversial. The Daugavpils, not manager, but director of the club in the press conference said that he thinks the refs are sort of having a laugh about Daugavpils pretty much.
Yeah, I remember it now. It's it was. I mean, what are you supposed to do as a defender in that situation? Are you supposed to not go for the ball? I mean, it wasn't even fully clear if the Jelgava player got hit in the head or if it was anything serious. But yeah, I remember that penalty now, thanks. We were right, though, about how Daugavpils will score. They did score, as we predicted, on the counterattack in the 6th minute.
Yeah.
Lizunovs on the left flank brought the ball forward, passed it across the box to the newcomer, one of the newcomers, Nasirli, and pretty much into the empty goal it went. But after that, Jelgava...
it was a well-worked goal.
Yeah. Jelgava took over after that, and penalty was on the 21st minute, and then the winning goal came on the 59th minute off a corner kick.
Yeah, interesting. All of the goals. The first one, the Daugavpils, just a very, very well worked counterattack. Lizunovs showed his speed, creativity, putting the ball across the box. Easy finish, and it was quite a nice goal. But then as we already said, Jelgava took over absolutely. Yeah, the dodgy penalty, I guess. It's an interesting situation. I did talk about that with one of my mates. It is a very interesting one because as a defender, of course, you go for the ball. But on the other hand, if you're an attacker and you're not afraid to put your head in there, you're pretty much guaranteed to get a foul because it's always dangerous. But then you sort of always, if you're not afraid from a head injury, you can always sort of get this foul. So I think it's a bit of a weird rule, but on the other hand, it makes sense that it's a foul. So questionable, but overall I think it's fine because I think Jelgava did deserve the win. And also the winning goal, I think a bit of a mistake from Daugavpils goalkeeper Kurakin. I think he could have easily saved it, but still the experienced 40-year-old Redjko scoring the winner, I think it's quite the story.
He was very happy in the post-match press conference, or interview, really, with him. He seemed very happy. I like the way you put it. If you're not afraid of head injury, you can get a foul in the box by just literally diving head first into the path of defenders. But I agree, it's a tricky situation. It was definitely a foul, but was it a penalty? Don't know. But it wasn't a penalty box. So then what are you supposed to do? Just give one of those weird foul kicks? That's not really something that happens that often anymore.
If it's a foul in the penalty box, it is a penalty, of course. But yeah, just tricky. Can't really blame the ref. But yeah, as a defender, I think he was also sort of facing the goal, so he doesn't see what's behind him. He's just going for the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess it is risky, but yeah. But yeah, overall, very good win for Jelgava. I am happy for them. Second game in Virsliga, first game at home in front of their fans. Well played. And of course, I'm personally happy for predicting the correct scoreline as well.
Yeah, you get a point, 3 points for that, I suppose. No, Jelgava looking good. Great to see the spirit again, as we spoke last time. They managed to get some of their foreign players out on the pitch this time. It was interesting to see. I particularly found Osuagwu potentially interesting. Very nimble, very very quick, long legs. Didn't score anything, but definitely can see that he's going to be dangerous.
Yeah, just wanted to quickly mention Osuagwu. I think he missed quite a big chance on the counter as well. Went 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, and the shot was just very underwhelming. But he had a chance, and yeah, he did look good.
He has the athletic prerequisites, so maybe just needs to get in form a little bit better. And he's a midfielder, or at least he was lined up as an attacking midfielder, so maybe more of a playmaker than a finisher. We'll see. I was very impressed by Maslov's dangerous crosses, good play. Rubenis again, despite kind of drifting in a little bit of a strange position. I think he was center forward. He kept drifting to his wing, which is where he's more comfortable. So I'm not sure about that position, but excellent player, dangerous always, creative, pleasure to see. Was subbed off in the 75th minute. Daugavpils, on the other hand, still looking damp. So as well as Jelgava played, Daugavpils still looking very raw. Lizunov's doing great stuff, a couple of other players, but overall as a team they just seem not there yet. It seems like it's a first mid-season friendly for them, not second game of the league.
I do agree. They are lacking in a lot of areas, and I can't even put my finger on exactly what they should do. It's just, unfortunately for now, it's a team that just doesn't excite me. So I guess the games where Daugavpils is going to play, just they're not going to excite me for as long as I don't see some improvement and some sort of idea behind their play, their style of football. So yeah, just, as you said, very raw and still a lot to work on. And I hope they do that during this international break, because they need it. And yeah, they need it to be more competitive, because for now, unfortunately, not looking that good.
No, and they did manage to sort out the stadium, so we have hopes for them remaining as a club. The only club from
that is true.
Latgale at this point in the Virsliga. But during the post-match press conference, you already mentioned this, the Daugavpils general manager, he complained about pretty much everything. Complained about the pitch, that there was some hole next to the penalty spot, complained about the referees having it out for his team for whatever reason, complained that all the foreign players are underperforming, that they said that they're exciting individually, but they're really expecting more out of them, and they're not delivering yet. Other than that, yeah, just not much to say about Daugavpils. Lots of complaining and not a lot to show on the pitch for it.
and exactly the opposite for Jelgava. Very exciting, young team, full of Latvians, full of talent, gelling together very well. Very interesting coach, and just complete opposite. Very exciting, and looking forward to see them. And of course, also worth mentioning about this game that the two, by far oldest players in Virsliga, faced each other. Redjko and Afanasyevs, both 40 years of age. Incredible that they can still play at this level and play good. I also think Afanasyevs definitely one of the noteworthy players from Daugavpils. So also quite an interesting fact, especially considering that Virsliga is a very young league.
Yeah, like we talked in the beginning, that it's the youngest league, but it's not that everyone's young. Here we have Jelgava, an extremely young team, but Redjko, 40 years old, and Daugavpils not quite as young, but still can't say that it's an experienced squad. And then Afanasyevs is they're 40, dragging the average age up. Yeah, Redjko scored the winning goal, as we mentioned, and he's kind of like a player coach for them, insofar as I understand. Moving on to the next game, which was Meta versus Auda. We predicted an easy win for Auda, and I think we were correct on the win part, but I did not consider that this was easy for them in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It was kind of easy, but at the same time, it wasn't a walk in the park. I was actually present at this game. I went to watch it live. The only one from this round. Unfortunately, didn't get to go to the Riga derby, but of course we'll talk about it later. But Meta Auda, it was an interesting match. Meta looked better than I was expecting, actually, I think. But on the other hand, Auda looks very solid. Very similar to Supernova game. Same result, same sort of idea. They got the goal, they got the lead, and in the second half sort of sat down a bit more, but still managed to drag out the win. Another clean sheet. So far, things looking very good for Auda.
Yeah, the only team to win both games thus far, and top of the table as a result. In terms of lineups, Meta fielded a 4-4-1-1 with Melnis, a very exciting young forward with lots of potential. And Auda went for some kind of a 3-5-2 variation. Piteo, the Italian/Argentinian forward, scored again, second game in a row. And then that was in the 17th minute. And then they sealed the deal in the pretty much the last minute of the game, in the 4th minute of injury time, with Stepanovs scoring that one.
Yeah, so because of the result and sort of the way that Auda played, it could be maybe seen as an easy win. But Meta did definitely have they did have something there to say. They had their attacks. I think 2 very good chances that were just wasted by their foreign player Correa. 2 very good chances. He should have scored them, and that could have completely changed up the game. But I can honestly say that because of my fantasy squad, I was very excited about this result. And Piteo scoring and the clean sheets. Very good. Auda just, I don't really see a weak point. They're just very good. I think Isayevs was looking very good. I think Savelyevs, both Latvians as well, looking very good. The whole team looking very good. And also interesting to see that Ozol starting in the goal again. And it does seem that he's actually their number 1 choice, and that Auda not seen as the number 1 in the face of the coach, which I think is an interesting thing to see, because I think he was last season. Auda was a big figure in the league, and I guess I'm kind of sad if he's the second keeper. I can't see him staying in out for the whole season, and if he leaves mid-season, it would be a bit sad to see, but still happy for Ozol's Latvian. Another clean sheet.
I miss, although he wasn't just an exciting keeper to watch, he was also Auda's captain towards the end of last season, and you could see that he has it in him. He was very charismatic, very much echoing Stipic, just on the pitch, and it's really bizarre to not see him this season yet. Obviously, Ozil's a formidable keeper, first choice for national team for quite a while. But I don't know. I guess there should be at least some kind of rotation soon. Otherwise, I agree with you. I don't see why Andoa would want to stay.
Yeah, well, that's also another interesting thing about Auda. Maybe their bench is not the longest, but still they have some interesting players that still haven't come on this season. A lot of young Latvians as well. And yeah, as we said, Andoa. So yeah, for now, one of the better looking teams, definitely. Just very solid all around, keeping the ball, controlling the game. Yeah, was very good. The atmosphere in the stadium as well. The good old Hanses, Hanses with the Skola speech. Yeah, it was good. Both fans singing their songs, supporting their teams. I think the national. Okay, no, not sure if the national team coach is present. That was last week. I saw him at the Measure Parks. But yeah, just wanted to say that we will talk about the Latvian national team as well. But yeah, just a bit disappointed. Just quickly wanted to mention seeing how good Isayevs and Ulimbashevs played for Auda, that they're not just not in the eyes of the Latvian national team coach. Of course, he has his reasons, and we'll talk about that more. But I just thought they were absolutely brilliant.
I agree. Ulimbashevs, I think, should have been called up last season. I think, didn't he score the winning cup goal against RFS?
He did.
Yeah, it's a very interesting midfielder, definitely. It is worth mentioning, though, that yes, Auda are on a winning streak thus far, but they haven't, I feel like, been tested yet. So their first game was against Supernova, now they played Meta. Next game, however, will be against Valmiera. And I feel like that will be a good test to see what Auda this season is really made out of. Sure, Valmiera is a little bit shaky right now, and that's the next game that we'll discuss. But they are the reigning champions, and certainly a challenge for this Auda squad.
Yeah, I do agree. First game was a very underwhelming Supernova. Now Meta, who didn't have their first game, so this was their first game. Of course, it's also a bit harder for them because of that. So, true, it will be very interesting to see Auda against the top 4 teams.
Some salty words from the Meta coach about tongue-in-cheek reference to game not being cancelled because of wind, jabbing at the officials for cancelling the game last week. But overall, things are just getting more interesting as we are transitioning to one of the 2 top games of the round, which is Valmiera hosting Liepaja. And, I feel like you got it righter than I did. You predicted a draw, but with a leaning towards Liepaja, and I predicted an easy Valmiera win. And that did not happen.
Yeah, very, a very weird one. Just, I think I said that a lot, but this was genuinely a very weird game. Starting from the fact that the player we praised so much in the first round, Olses, the Valmiera goalkeeper, pretty much slowly responsible for the goal they conceded. Mistake in his own box with a pass. And yeah, that's the only goal of the game, Liepaja winning 1-0. But can't say they were...
Not technically the only goal of the game.
That is true as well. Valmiera did score, but it was ruled out because of a handball, I believe.
Yeah, but it was a good goal.
Yeah, if only it would have counted. If only. But I think that was fair. I think it was a handball. So I think the ref got it right at least.
So Liepaja won 1-0. Dodo scoring in the 42nd minute from this mistake that Olses made. Literally just rolled out, yes, under pressure, but rolled the ball out to the opponent in his own box. And I think there were 2 or 3 Liepaja players around, and they just passed it to Dodo, who scored in the bottom right corner. Well, I wouldn't say it's unexpected. I agree, it's a strange game. First of all, lots of cards. So 4 yellow cards to each team. Second of all, Valmiera looking dangerous, but still unable to kind of finish properly. Yes, last week there was a pile of snow on the pitch, but I kind of agree with what their coach said in the post-game press conference, that it felt like almost as if the snow is still there. That's how the players behaved. It was just kind of slow, lacking mutual understanding, not really finishing moves properly, defense not as solid as we're used to seeing it, just something still missing there. Liepaja, on the other hand, their first game for us to watch, as the last week was cancelled, and better than I expected, I'll admit, but still kind of a little bit uneven. I feel like there are very dangerous moments, especially in the attack. Defense looked really nice, but then again, they would just be, I don't know.
Yeah, the fact that Valmiera just can't seem to find their goal is weird, because I think they do have a good quality of players. They probably were the better team in the match, but yeah, just lacked some luck, and as well as Lazarev's made a couple of really good saves, especially one from, I think it was either a free kick from the side or a corner kick, when I think it was Gay who went for the header, and a very good reaction save for Lazarev's, keeping their team in the lead. But yeah, just a couple players that did stand out for Valmiera. I think Varslavans looked really good, showing that he is the player who is gonna be the first choice on the right wing. Some foreigners, I think Jelisko is always a solid player, but just can't seem to find their goal. Liepaja did find theirs, and even though it's a team that we only saw for the first time this season, a lot of foreigners, a lot of people we just don't know, players we don't know. But yeah, they did look surprisingly good. Okay, I did predict that they will be probably ready for this match and looking surprisingly good, but didn't think they were gonna win in the end, as they did. And also, I think worth mentioning, Tamas Perti, the Liepaja coach, showing his authority already in the first game of the season for them, subbing 2 players off in the first half, not due to injuries. Always a brave decision to do that, and he's not scared to do them.
Yeah, 2 midfielders off in 35th minute of the first half. That is what he does best. Valmiera seemed to have reverted back to their familiar 4-3-3 lineup, and Liepaja fielded something closer to 4-4-2. I agree about Varslavans, absolutely an exciting player. Loved seeing him for RFS whenever he would get a chance. Very technical, creative. With RFS, seemed to have maybe suffered from lack of trust from the coach. He could get nervous, and you could see him struggle a little bit. Definitely looking much more confident for Valmiera. Had a couple of shots on goal, some very dangerous, lots of dangerous crosses, running around doing good things. It was a pleasure to see.
Yeah. But yeah, we already talked about Tamas showing his character, Liepaja coach. Talked about some comments from your discounts, but I like the way you have put in our notes the fact that it was a salty press conference from Counts, Valmiera's coach. I agree.
Oh, it was so salty.
Yeah.
He came out the gates saying that he's shocked by how weak Liepaja looked, which is some statement, given that they lost and didn't look that much better. But yeah, that he threw the gauntlet down, I feel like, especially that Tamas Perti, he just had nice things to say about everything, and then Counts comes out and he gives another one of these, which I noticed that he tends to do whenever Valmiera loses. He kind of becomes he assumes this drunk uncle persona and kind of just rants about every other thing, and this time it was that Liepaja are weak, and how can that be? and just going on about how, well, why are you all freaking out that we haven't scored a goal or won a game? It was the same last season, and then we had the 15-game unbeaten streak, and it's just going on about the Virsliga calendar, how it's inadequate, and just literally, ranting about everything he could think of, it feels like.
Yeah, it did also spark some debate on Twitter, especially the thing he said about Liepaja looking very weak. The way he said it, he was so passionate. They're looking so weak. And then he said that
it was very dismissive.
Yeah, and also the fact that he said then it looked like we were playing against, and I don't want to put anyone down, but it looked like we were playing against Daugavpils. So he doesn't want to put anyone down, but still mentioned Daugavpils as a reference. Yeah, a very salty press conference, as you said. He likes to complain, and I think he always also likes to sort of have a job at Perti for some reason. And I'm not sure. When he was at Valmiera, Thomas Perti, they were working together. Jurgis Kons was assisting him, but now that he's over at Liepaja, always sort of having little jabs at Liepaja's coach. But I think it partly comes from the fact that yes, he's from Liepaja and he does not like what's happening at his sort of hometown club, and the way that Thomas is sort of rebuilding itself. I think that could be partly it, but also the comparison to drunk Uncle Person is also a very accurate one, I believe. He does like to have his rants about anything.
That's why I kind of end up not being able to really to watch press conferences for Valmiera whenever they lose, because it goes off into all kinds of rabbit holes, and it's like, well, that's not what I'm here for. Like, can we talk about why you actually lost, and now that it was that or this third thing that got in your way. But yeah, I agree. I don't know what's the beef from him towards Pertia. There's definitely something. I find it difficult to believe that it has to do with the strategy of how Liepaja is developing as a club, because that was the case pre-Pertia as well. They're just, for those wondering what we're talking about, it's just Liepaja tends to just buy a bunch of players and not develop any local talent. And Liepaja as a city in Latvian football is known for producing exciting and good players. So that's what the complaining is all about. That you have this body of young footballers, but they're not welcome in the first team.
Yeah.
But that was going on before Pertia came along. So don't know what that's all about. Maybe it's something behind the scenes while he was the assistant coach. We don't know. But strange. Did not this whole round was kind of full of salty press conferences. Yeah. And it's only a second round, and for some teams it's the first game.
Yeah. Again, love this about Latvian football.
Well, let's see. Let's see what happens next. Liepaja has a big game next round, playing against Riga FC, and Valmiera, as we mentioned, is going to host Auda. Okay, next one, the big Riga derby. Riga FC versus RFS. I went to this one, to the stadium, and I have very mixed emotions. So maybe you go first, and then I'll share my thoughts.
Well, always the biggest matchup in Latvian football for a couple of years now. I was very excited for the game. I did predict Riga to win, and you thought that RFS is going to win. Ended up.
Well, you predicted that they will win 3-2, so not to forget the 5-goal game that you predicted.
Yeah, and I don't think I was too off route with that, but there is one obvious factor which sort of changed the whole game up. The game ended 1-1. But worth noting that in the 12th minute already, Riga got a red card. By the way, after a VAR check. So I think it was the first card decision changed up because of VAR in Latvian football. So history made. But Niang got a red card for a slide tackle he did on Savalnieks and put his team down to 10 men. which is always very hard and that early in the game. But even though Emerson's scored and the RFS got 1-0 up in the last minutes of the first half, I think the second half, I'm not sure how they managed to do that, but Riga looked like they were playing 11 men against 10, controlling the ball, having a lot of attacks. And incredible. I don't know what Stipic said to them in the halftime, but somehow they managed to still attack, even though being down one man, and even scored from a penalty in the 87th minute. Even the penalty had some drama around it. It was also checked by VAR. It was a handball in the penalty box. Then I believe there was a bit of a drama that Ogunji really wanted to take the penalty, and Stipic was apparently very vocal about the fact that he does not want him to take it, and he wants the leader, the Douglas Aurelia, to take it. So he did, and managed to slot it in the bottom right corner, 1-1. And that's how the game ended. And but I think it was also like the last second, the left back from Riga, Talamor, went an amazing run. It was just so beautiful. He went past like 3 or 4 RFS players, and from the, I think, about 14 meters, just shot at the goal and hit the crossbar. And if he would have scored that, I think we would have had the goal of the round in the bag easily, and that would have been an incredible win for Riga. But still, I think the fact that they were almost the whole game only 10 men, and they managed to get this draw, incredible result from them, and just shows that this team has some character, and Stipic sort of knows how to deal with them. So let me know, how was it being in the stands?
Well, it was full. It was my first time at that particular ground as well. Did not expect it. It feels much smaller when you're there. I don't know, maybe it's because they put up those banners all around the pitch, and then the stands are a little bit more vertical than elsewhere, but that was you're basically sitting. It feels like you're at the court side at a basketball game. At least that was my kind of surprise. But in terms of game itself, I mean, what are RFS doing? What is Victor Smoros doing? I have no idea. They came out, and it really felt like they have somewhere more important to be right after the game. It was like there wasn't, and it's just simple errors, giving the ball away on your own side. That's looking at you, Jata. Steinbors also just doing these very strange and needless things that just create danger in front of your own goal for no reason whatsoever. Mistakes. Some Savarniaks I would definitely point out. He looked like he means business, and then a couple of other ones. But just overall, it seemed like they're somewhere else, and that's the thing. They have nowhere else to be. The Europe hasn't started yet. There's no cup yet. Like, where are you guys? Like, my car wasn't available, so I took public transport all the way there. That's what best you can do. I just felt personally offended with that. So that's my personal emotions. The Emerson goal was great. Well, the goal was good. The build-up was amazing. As a Riga derby, it didn't disappoint. We had a red card, we had a bunch of yellow cards. That both straight legs tackle from behind that got Niang sent off was just absurd. Like, why would you do that? And yet he did it. Atmosphere in the stadium was great. There were some interesting moments, such as at one point when Stipic subbed, I don't remember who he subbed someone off. It seemed like there's only 2 Latvian players on the pitch left, and there was a whole debate around where I was sitting, like, how is this legal or not? And they're like, well, does it apply when you're down to 10 men or what? So I'm actually genuinely curious, because by the rules of the Virsliga,
I can explain that.
Yeah, go for it.
So I think you believe it was the substitution of Gunji for Regja. And
because Agunji is a local player technically.
Yeah. He's not Latvian, but he's been in Latvian sort of football system for enough to be considered as a local player. And that's why, well, not locally grown player. And you have to have 3 locally grown players, not Latvians, locally grown players. Should be pointed out. So that's why it was fine.
All right, so that was fine. And then I think Dashkevich actually, despite being Latvian, is not considered as a Latvian player. So it's like the inverted situation, right?
No, I think he's definitely he is a Latvian player. If he's on the pitch, it's fine. But yeah, there were 4 minutes where Dashkevich wasn't on, but Okunji was, and that's why there was probably this confusion.
All right. Well, I mean, good to know. It was bothering me. I was waiting to see if there's any letter writing campaigns forthcoming to the federation, but I guess it's all good. Yeah, not a lot of outside of Niang's foul, not many fouls. If we're not counting the Riga coaching squad, they got a few yellow cards on the field.
Yeah,
Ilic and Maric got booked. Yeah, I could see Stipic just jumping around basically non-stop ever since Niang got sent off. What else? Still very happy with Markiev on RFS. Seeing him live, just guy's amazing. He's so good at recovering the ball. Very impressive to see. Ikauniak still not fully there. Emerson's had to be subbed off in the 56th minute due to injury, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, it was a Riga derby. It's just it really felt like RFS should have done more to show up to the game. In the post-match presser, Stipic was not super happy. Moros was not super happy either, for different reasons. Overall, 1-1 seems like a good result, but I agree with you that we must not forget that Riga were playing 10 men. And in that sense, what they did in the second half was nothing short of just amazing. They dominated RFS, and RFS just sat there and didn't care.
Yeah, there seems to be some sort of, as I said in the first or the 0 episode of the podcast, why I'm not really expecting much from RFS this year. They seem to have just some players, I think they're just been there for too long, or the coach, just something seems a bit off, that they're just not really in it. As you said, just they're not there. It seems that they have something more important, but there's nothing more important. So yeah, if Riga had the full squad for the whole game, I think even Stipic said that in the press conference. Imagine what would have been if we had 11 men. But of course, there's always the sort of other side of the story, that maybe if they didn't get a red card, the players wouldn't have been so woken up suddenly and didn't have to sort of start really concentrating more. So you could always debate about that, but still, what they did, amazing. It just shows true spirit, which is something I think Riga have lacked a bit in the recent years. And yeah, I think Stipic is really building up something great there. He's, I think, getting the best out of these players. So yeah.
Yeah, I was happy in the Morris said. It seems like he's finally admitting that Ilic is not pulling his weight. And I haven't been impressed with Ilic pretty much at all since he arrived after Lemaic got sold to Ghent. And yet he's been pretty much guaranteed a place in the starting lineup always, despite there being some much more exciting forwards available. So my hopes are not particularly up for this one, but maybe he'll give someone else a chance, and maybe it will be better. Because this tactic of, you run down the wing, and then you cross, and then Ilic is there by himself. Yeah, he's a big guy, he plays good with his head, but I mean, at least he needs a body in there to head the ball too. Otherwise, it's just not much to it there.
No, I do agree. I think he's been a bit disappointing recently. It seems that the popular opinion is that he's a very good, promising striker, and he's not bad, of course, but I think he's a bit overrated in that sense. But yeah, as you also mentioned, Ikauniak seems to just be not present at all, not showing what he should be showing, especially considering national team games are coming up. And also you mentioned about Savelnieks. He's definitely one of my all-time favorite players in Virsliga. Always there, always fighting, always running, trying his best. So yeah, he's a player that will never let you down. And I guess one player that you can point out from the RFS squad, and I think Emerson's as well. Unfortunate that he had to be subbed off with the injury, but yeah, scored a great goal.
Yeah, for Riga Aurelio, amazing stuff. Maric just couldn't deal with him, and Maric is considered, and rightly so, as an excellent left wing back, but he just had a terrible time the whole game. Aurelio dribbling, going forward, passing the ball, not as many shots this week. Soisalo, the Finnish international on the Riga squad, on the other hand, was subbed off. Didn't really show much, not that much confidence, losing the ball often.
And I believe Stipic had something to say about him in the press conference, right?
Yeah, he said, and this is impressive because Soisalo was, I think a couple of years ago, was nominated as the best Virsliga player. But Stipic said that he needs to improve his skills.
Yeah.
That he needs to work on his stuff, which is also very nice and refreshing to hear. And for Riga, and I think generally man of the match is probably, in my mind, would be Al-Bashir for Riga. Just was everywhere, was doing lots of work, kind of like Markiev, but better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would have to agree. Yeah, well, the whole squad did look good. Maybe apart from Soisalo, he was a bit underwhelming in the game. Stipic, I think he also said every time he got the ball, the team lost the ball, which is quite a thing to say. But I think it's gonna only do Soisalo good when he hears that he'll. He's the type of player that won't take it sort of it on the heart too much. He's just gonna improve. But yeah, very good game for Riga.
And not so much for RFS.
Yeah. And I would also like to point out the left back from Riga, Tala, purely for the run he made in this the last minute of the game. Yeah, very good. But, well, yeah, if he did score that, it would have been incredible. But yeah, also a very good left back.
Yeah, I'm happy he didn't, because I think I would just, I don't know, didn't have anything to throw or break, but just, yeah. Just I would be concerned for my emotional state with vis-a-vis RFS if he had scored that goal. So good for me, bad for Riga.
I feel you.
Next, easy game for RFS. Finally, chance for them to maybe, catch their breath. They will be away at Jelgava. Okay, maybe not going to be that easy, but we'll see.
Not gonna be
easier. It should be easier than Valmiera and Riga right away. And Riga is away to Liepaja. So we'll see what happens there. All right, and then the final game was just earlier today, which was Supernova hosting Tukums, and Supernova won 2-0. So we were both wrong. You predicted a 1-1 draw with Lyson scoring, and I just predicted a draw. And it was nothing of the sort. In fact, this is the fastest goal this season thus far. 45th second, Supernova opened the score after a mistake by Tukums defender Sidorovs.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's probably going to stay the fastest goal of the season. Well, we'll see, but it's unlikely it's going to be beaten. But yeah, an interesting game. I think last week I did say that I think Supernova, because of the players they have on paper, they will improve and look better. But yeah, I didn't expect Tukums to be much more underwhelming than the first round. Supernova looked good. They controlled the ball for a bit. Tukums also looked good, but Supernova actually took their chances. I think this was the game where the experience really came in hand. The Lyzans, Vishniakovs, Rakels. I think this was the changing factor in the game. They looked really good. seemed to work more with the team. And goals by Minions, Kaušelis in the first and the 50th minute, both coming from sort of rebounds or rebound-ish goals, but still they took them. And I think Supernova were the better team, and the result is right in that sense. I think at least.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Wasn't the cleanest of games. Also, 8 yellow cards for 4 apiece. Tukums had chances, but they didn't take them. The only kind of player from their side I could point out would be Stepanovic, the Lithuanian on loan from RFS. But as you said, expected Supernova to be better. Didn't expect Tukums to be worse. Before we started recording, the press conference wasn't yet out, so we don't know what coaches had to say for themselves. But kind of an okay game, I suppose.
I did hear something about the press conference from the Supernovas coach side, Kolinko. It wasn't really anything to do with the game, but I saw the video of the journalist Edmunds Novickis after the game, as he usually does. He puts these videos on Twitter, just quickly sort of recapping the game. And he said that in the press conference, Kolinko said something about the Latvian goalkeepers, and there not being any actually good goalkeepers, which seemed
nonsense. Are you kidding me?
It was apparently a very very interesting comment. Which I think goalkeepers is something we're definitely not lacking.
Absolutely not.
And I think even today, the goalkeeper of his team, Kudratas, I think had a good game, kept a clean sheet, saved a very good hit by the Stepanovic, the player you mentioned. He had a good chance. Kudratas saved it. So a bit of a mad one, but
no, that's nonsense. I mean, come on, we have Ozols, we have Steinbors, who, as we mentioned in episode 0, was in the Conference League best saves basically after every game. We have Purinc for Riga, who's just having an amazing time. The younger ones, we have Bex for Meta, Lazarevs for Liepaja. That's not the young ones, but amazing saves against Valmiera just in this round. What is he on about? I get that he was the goalkeeper for the best national team that we've ever had, but I mean, you surely can't think that highly of yourself. And I think there might be some distortion with respect to memories of the past and the good old days maybe going on. Matrevits, I forgot Matrevits. Another amazing goalkeeper.
Zviedris as well.
Zviedris, we have more goalkeepers that we could ever use. Zomers,
we could just keep naming them, but I guess when the press conferences are out and when we talk about the national team, we can probably say more about that, because I'm not sure exactly the context of it, but just a weird comment. But back to the game. Will be interesting to see what the coaches say. I think Tukums coach can't be too happy with the performance. And I think there was a lot of mistakes from their side, a bit of misunderstandings between players. But at times, same for Supernova. I think you can see really the difference between the top 5, bottom 5 teams. I think even Jelgava looked better than Tukums, Supernova, Daugavpils. But interesting. Supernova really doing what I think are supposed to be doing with the quality of squad that they have.
They fielded again 4-1-4-1. Tukums maybe went a bit too offensive with the 4-3-3, maybe underestimating Supernova a little bit. But we don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the coaches think.
Yeah. Also a bit unfortunate for Tukums. The injury for Samailovs. I think he has been a bit of a motor in their midfield, at least in the first game and start of this game. Unfortunate that he got injured. I hope it's nothing too serious, so he can come back as soon as possible. But overall, Tukums wasn't disappointing. It's not like they're now looking bad and they're going to finish last. But But on the other hand, I don't know, nothing too much to say about, I think, these teams, because so bottom 5 teams, it's always a bit of a scrappy match. But yeah, so Supernova took the win. And will be interesting to see what's next for them, whether they're going to improve again or whether we will truly see their real colors in the third round of matches.
Yeah, where they will go to Daugavpils to play against Daugavpils, and Tukums are going to host Meta. All right. Well, that's the overview of the round 2, and now we have to decide on goal of the round. Last week it was unanimous. There were no contenders, as there weren't that many goals. This week we don't yet know. So for me, the candidates are either Piteo of Auda, first goal, which was a lovely strike just from the center, from just either the border of the penalty box or just from outside it, went through the defenders into the bottom left corner. Lovely strike, Piteo's second goal. Or Redjko for Jelgava, a ball coming in from corner kick, and I think maybe it's choreographically beautiful, not particularly technically challenging, but and he with one touch sent it against the movement of the Daugavpils goalkeeper and just kind of went in at this fairly slow arch right underneath the crossbar. Just found it very aesthetically pleasing. But you think Emerson should take the prize?
Yeah, well, for me, I guess maybe that's the footballing brain, but yeah, I really like the Emerson goal. His link-up play with Panic. I think they had each 2 passes between them around the box, which led to a goal. Just some short 1-2 is very nice. Good finish with, I believe, his left leg, his weaker leg, with a good finish. So I thought that to be aesthetically pleasing for me because of the build-up. But I actually wouldn't mind to go with Redjko because of the fact that, you have a good point about it being choreographically a good goal. And the fact that there was a bit of an angle, a bit of a distance, and the fact that he managed to score, and also because of the occasion. I think this is what maybe will take me over the line with this one. The occasion, the 40-year-old scoring the winning goal for the new team in Virsliga in front of their fans. Yeah, I just think it was the occasion. And I think the goal would have looked better if not for the sort of, I think it was a bit scrappy exactly when it went over the line. Kurakin sort of, I think, got a touch to it, which made it look like it could have been saved. But okay, I can't take anything away from Redjko in the situation. He did very well, even to get away from all the players. It was very interesting. Everyone else sort of got to the first post. He went to the far post. He was alone there, scored. So if you agree, I would be willing to give it to Redjko.
Well, then, so far our goals of the round are only going to Jelgava, which is very exciting. Very exciting. I don't know if that speaks about their quality or about kind of lack of higher profile goals in the Virsliga. That Liepaja one was, it was a mistake by the keeper. Valmiera is yet to score. And I mean, the RFS goal is in the run-up, but I guess we'll give it second place. So yeah, goal by Redjko. We'll upload a video onto Twitter. So hit up LV Football _show if you want to see that, or just watch highlights on YouTube. They're free and available everywhere.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. So, what's going to happen next?
No. First game of the next round, which will be after the international break. 1st of April. Daugavpils against Supernova in Daugavpils. So, the football's going back to Latgale, to Daugavpils. So, quite exciting. Bottom 5 matchup. Underwhelmingly looking Daugavpils against Supernova, who seem to be improving. But I think because of the international break, Daugavpils will have some time to improve. So it's going to be a very interesting match. And if I have to predict, I think this is going to end in a draw. I'll go for a 1-1.
I'm don't have much faith in Daugavpils. But Supernovas seem to be proving everyone wrong. So I'm going to go with 2-1 for Supernova over Daugavpils.
Okay. And the next up, Liepaja, Riga.
Yeah, Riga is lost Niang due to red card. But, I mean, their bench is long and deep, and they have other excellent players. So I'm giving this one to Riga, maybe a 2-0 win. Yeah, definitely.
A bit tricky for me because Liepaja did not look good, but there is the international break, a bit of time. I think they can show character, but realistically, Riga should have this easily. But I think it's not going to be that easy. I think it will be something similar to the Jelgava match. I'll go with a 2-0 for Riga as well, but I'm predicting it's going to be 1-0 for a long time, and then in the last minutes maybe they can get the second goal. So I'll go with that.
More like the Auda scenario.
Yeah.
Also, not to forget that Riga doesn't have that many internationals. So it's RFS has like 8 people going just to Latvian team alone, and Valmiera has, I think, 4 or something like that, and then 2 other teams as well. But Riga, they don't have that many internationals, so they will not really be affected as much, I think. Same for Liepaja, to be honest.
4 players, I think. Liepaja doesn't have a single international, and I think it's the first time that it's been the case, which just shows how Liepaja has changed. They still have youngsters going. However, Kruglosh, I think.
True. All right, Jelgava versus RFS.
You said something about an easy game for RFS.
Comparatively easy. Easier than Valmiera and Riga.
Valmiera and Riga, yeah. Yeah, Jelgava are putting up good fights, and it shouldn't be easy. And I seem to have some sort of thing and passion for Jelgava this season. I really like them, really like the team, and I want them to do well, but something tells me that this is the game where RFS sort of look at themselves and realize, come on, we have to prove that we are the best or second best team in Latvia, and I think they will win quite confidently, because I think this is the. Then again, there is the international break and a lot of players going away. It is a bit tough, but I think RFS to win 2-0. I think they're gonna just be more solid in defense. It's gonna be tough for Jelgava, and of course they will put up a good fight. But I feel like RFS finally will show who they are and get just a solid win.
I agree in principle. I'm gonna go for 3-0, and also not forgetting that in a preseason friendly, RFS won 6-0. Obviously friendly. Obviously Jelgava are now not the same team as playing. I mean, it's the same team, but it's not a friendly. They are learning quickly. They seem dangerous, but I agree with you. I think RFS. Well, I hope RFS take a good look at themselves in the mirror. Maybe bench Illich, put someone else up front who's quicker, more lethal. There's definitely players available like that, and score some goals. All right, Tukums versus Meta.
I feel bold, but I think Meta is going to win this one. I have this feeling that, Tukums, they are a solid team, but Meta didn't really look that bad, which is a bit concerning for me because I put them in the last place in my predictions. But
I had Jelgava last, I think, so I know how you feel.
Yeah, I think everyone's consensus now is that Daugavpils should have been there. But I think Meta will show something, finally score, and I have a feeling they will get a 1-0 victory.
I'm gonna go for 1-1, and maybe I'll even go beyond that and suggest that Meta are gonna lead for a while, but then concede towards the end. as they're known to do. So I'm gonna suggest 1-1 for this game.
As I did last week, throw out the Laizans goal. I'm gonna boldly throw out that Bruno Melnis is going to score for Met. I don't know why. I'll have one bold scorer guess each week.
Yeah. I think maybe him or maybe Puzarevskis. Some of the last year's fantastic duo.
Yeah, and then the last game, Auda versus Valmiera. I think this is probably the main match of the round. And it's a hard one because Valmiera are not looking bad, but they haven't found the goal, which they should do, especially considering your discounts. The fact that he said that they're still sort of not really, the first two games are not really the start of the season. They feel like they're going to be fine. The team's going to be finalized after the international break. So they should look good, but now they're also looking good. I'm going to go for a draw, I think, or I would have win. But let's go for a draw. I would allow to defend if they... I'll go for a 1-1. 1-1.
All right. I'm gonna predict the return of the drunk uncle. And I'm gonna predict that Auda will win 2-1. Valmiera will find their first goal, but either Olses will do something, or Auda will just genuinely, show the quality that they have, abundance of, and they're gonna squeeze 2 out of Valmiera.
Yeah, so. But this is a tough one to predict. It could go either way, and I think the biggest factor being the international break. The teams have some time to sort of not rebuild, but sort of improve more. It's almost like the second off season. Yeah, well, preseason, more correctly. Yeah.
But these games are on 1st and 2nd of April, and in between now and then, we have the national team break, where Latvia will play a friendly and a qualification game, friendly against Ireland, and a qualification against Wales. And I think we'll cover that too.
Yeah, I think, next episode we should cover the national team, the selection, first of all, which is, I have definitely some emotions towards that. I always do.
Again, yeah. The selection. At least there's something different this time. A little bit.
A bit.
A little bit. Yeah. The minimal for us, which is the maximum for. But yeah. We'll see.
But I think the listeners will find it interesting because the Latvians. I think the national team also a lot of interesting things about it, about the coach, about the surroundings, about the players picked or not picked. So it should be a very interesting talk. Something definitely to find out.
And we'll see you next time.